Mitt Romney, radical Republican or wannabe? And why has the Democratic Party changed its attack line so many times? All this and more coming up on The Fight for Common Sense.
We are here to nominate a president.
There is a President Obama that only Republicans can save, and Mitt Romney is a serial killer. He's Mitt the Ripper.
Invested in roads and bridges. If you got business, you didn't build that.
You know, lifting whole passages from someone else's speeches is not change you can believe in, it's change you can zero. That story's a failure. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. We need to stop spending money we don't have.
So recently, the Democratic Party has changed its line of attacks on Mitt Romney once again. They seem to be shifting constantly from flip-flopper, just trying to impress people, to radical Republican, spreading all his extreme views. Now, which one is true? Let's look into that. I mean, thanks to the new movie, Obama 2016, it seems as if ancestry sure means a lot. So we're going to start out with George Romney and look at his views to see if that influenced Mitt Romney at all, since that's exactly what that movie did. Okay, so George Romney, he was, by all definitions, a moderate. He was governor of Michigan. At first, he was a CEO at a giant oil company. And during his run for presidential nominee of the Republican Party in 1968, he started out fairly well in the polls. He was, at some point, had the majority of the votes, but because he was too moderate for the Republican Party, and because of a few comments on Vietnam, which were seen as way too liberal, he lost the Republican nomination to Nixon, Richard Nixon. Now, Mitt Romney's constant dream of becoming president, which has been for the last few elections, I'm fairly sure it started there. He wants to complete the path which his father started. And obviously he's done a lot to do so. He became governor. Afterwards he tried running for Senate and failed. He's tried running for the Republican nominee 2 or 3 times and failed. And it seems that Mitt Romney has been learning from his mistakes. What he's been doing, and you can argue this, but he has been saying what people want to hear to get this nomination. He's practically thrown out everything that he believes in. I don't even know if he believes in anything. He's saying what he thinks wants to be heard. He is practically a robot. And no, this isn't any propaganda. You can look at so many instances when he's practically said something and then went to someone else and said something completely different. I mean, he's received a lot of bad credit lately. He's lost a lot of votes because of a comment that he was speaking with fairly wealthy donors, and he said, and I quote, that 47% of Americans don't pay taxes, and as president, I would not be worried about them. That's what he said. Now, before, he's said multiple times to less wealthy Americans about how he wants to restore the safety net, about how he cares about them. So, I mean, like, that's just one thing. And the changing stances on Obama's healthcare program. In the RNC, they were constantly yelling, no, get rid of it, repeal it, it's horrible, it's the worst thing for America that Obama has done, he's the Satan himself. And now, Mitt Romney, just a few days ago, speaking to an independent crowd, said, well, I don't necessarily want to get rid of all of it. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to tell you all the details, but I want to repeal part of it and keep part of it, and then, well, Mitt, make up your mind. We want moderates, but we want those who truly believe in moderation. What do you believe in? I doubt you believe in anything. I mean, with your Paul Ryan choice, you completely shocked the world. You got a few Republicans happy, and now you're saying these things and that things and these things and that things, and you're all walking around without ties, pretending like you're trying to appeal to the modern American and all. You know what? Enough is enough. If you're a Republican, say so. If you want to be an independent, all the Republicans will hate you. Karl Rove will flip out, but say so. Romney's main problem here is that in his bid for the Senate, he failed because he specified what he wanted to do. He specified that he wasn't necessarily the most Republican, and he specified what he was going to cut. And his plan then made sense. It truly did. But what happened was, because he told them, people got angry. People got angry with his plan because people are stupid. We all know that. People are stupid. Democracy constantly chooses the wrong people. He said something, he said his plan, and he lost because of that. And now he's trying to fix that mistake. He's not saying anything. He refuses to tell us about his plan, which is something like cut 6 trillion in spending, add 4 trillion in tax cuts and defense spending over the next 20 years. But he doesn't want to give us any details. He refuses to. Paul Ryan, his friend here, his handsome friend, he's given a ton of details. We can't argue with that. But because he gave those details, we see how radical and sort of out of touch he is. Or at least out of touch with the average independent. And Romney's trying to navigate through all this turmoil and avoid saying anything to either side, which is why he's been failing so miserably. Because he can't be definite on anything. I mean, today's Constitution Day, so I'd like to talk a bit about that. Mitt Romney, just like any other Republican, refers a lot to the Constitution. For them, this is a big thing. But he's looking at this thing, and then he's saying stuff to us which is absolutely the opposite of what he reads. I mean, the Republicans, they've had this whole thing about gay marriage and abortion, and Mitt Romney's kind of swayed towards the middle. He said abortion's okay for rape victims, but besides that, he still mainly agreed with the Republicans, which is what he's supposed to do. He's the Republican nominee. But the Constitution gives people the right to do whatever they'd like with their bodies, as long as it does not endanger general society. And that includes abortions. Whether you think it's right or not, and many people don't think it's right, but they think that it's right to give people the right to choose. That's a lot of rights. And that's a lot of rights that the right party does not think is right. So, I mean, Mitt, you're obviously saying things to make people happy. I don't know what your opinion is. I don't know if you've ever had an opinion in your life. You're a business guy. You should stick with business, because obviously politics isn't your thing. You're not interested in politics. You want to do this for some reason, maybe to prove something to your father, who's God knows where now. But the fact is that if you're going to be a politician, you have to make up your mind about stuff. You can't continue to go back and forth, make a program in your state, then go all against it, be for abortion, and all of a sudden change for some iffy reason. That's not right. What you're doing is saying stuff just to get elected. And you know, maybe you're smarter than all of us. Maybe you are doing what all politicians have been doing for the last few decades, and maybe that's going to help you. But I can tell you one thing. It's not going to help you this election year. You're out of luck, buddy. So speaking about things that pop out of you if you stare at them blankly, just like the Republicans see of the Constitution, this right here is an austereogram. The idea of this is, you stare at these dots, which I guess could represent the Constitution. It's interesting, but it doesn't really make sense yet. And then, when you have a Republican stare at them, cross-eyed, which is what lots of Republicans do, a shark like this is supposed to pop out. It's really interesting. You should look it up online. Autostereogram. Now, if I was Mitt Romney, I would be staring at this. And guess what? I don't see anything because I'm Mitt Romney. But I'm going to agree that I see the shark. And in fact, it's not the shark in this picture. This shark is waving its fin at me and telling me that I am here for a reason. I'm here to make a change and fix the economy from this evil Satan Obama who's tried to ruin everything. If I'm Mitt Romney, then I'm going to go to a few independents and say, well, you know, Obama isn't that bad, but I can be better. You know, why should we listen to this? This doesn't make sense. Obviously, I don't agree with this. You should vote for me. And then the Republicans call again, "Hey, Mitt, how come you're not doing any more of those stereogram things? How about you come over today to the RNC and tell us a bit more about that?" Oh, crap.
Let's get the angelic face on.
That's Mitt, plain and simple. Thank you very much, and no matter who you choose this election year, America will lose. But it's important to vote. Thank you very much and have a